Hello and welcome to Born Wild, the show that takes you to the heart of wild India. It takes you up close and personal to some of India's most unique and endangered animals, all of whom face challenges to their survival because of habitat loss, the increasing human-animal interface and poaching. We have a long, unbroken tradition in India of people and animals living together. The fact that we still are a mega-diverse country, one of the 17 in the world, is due to this wonderful tradition we have of living in harmony with our wildlife. And it is something that requires protection. It needs something that requires promotion. Our wildlife and wild landscapes are the greatest treasures we have. It's up to us to really step up and protect it. It is now or never.
Running, skipping, singing and winding, a living sentience makes her way to the ocean. On the way she feeds the land, brings it alive and allows for civilizations to rise and fall. For millions upon millions of years, she has carved her way through various parts of India, making us who we are, keeping us alive. She is worlds within worlds, life brimming in her waters. The rivers of life. And yet our world today has treated them as disposable, unnecessary and impediments or stepping stones to development, all with the thought of how we can use her best, while forgetting her greatest service is something she gives us for free, drinking water. This is a story of 3 such rivers and the endangered animals that live in them. An unusual crocodilian, a freshwater dolphin, a freshwater turtle and the smooth-coated otter. Over half of India's rivers are said to be severely polluted, yet there is one river where in some places it is still possible to drink the water straight from her banks. The Chambal, also known as the Sharmanavati River or a cursed river. Legend has it that in the centuries past a king sacrificed cows on her banks. The blood of the cows flowed into the river, forever cursing her sanctity. Hence the Chambal is one of the few rivers in India where no large spaces of worship are found on her banks and no large historic settlements of people either. For most of her run through Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh, there are not many industries either on her banks. This has helped keep her relatively clean, and the positioning of the Chambal ravines has most certainly allowed for the water runoff after rains to be duly filtered by the fine sand of the ravines, making this river unique and fresh. Here we watch 2 gharials come up for air and face the sandbanks. Perhaps they had nests on the banks that they were keeping an eye on. Despite appearances to the contrary and being reptiles and therefore not considered as nurturing as mammals, gharials are very caring parents. The gharial, classified as critically endangered, is a fish-eating crocodile. Their small populations are threatened by loss of riverine habitat, falling fish numbers and entanglements in fishing nets. Our first stop was in Morena in Madhya Pradesh. Here we met with the Madhya Pradesh Forest Department, who are dedicated to ensuring their survival in these waters.
I'm at the Gharial Breeding Center in Deori in Morena in Madhya Pradesh. This breeding center is the only one of its kind in Madhya Pradesh, and they breed the gharials. The gharials are critically endangered crocodilians found only in India, endemic to our riverine ecosystems. The center here has been functional since 1978, and thanks to their tremendous efforts, a lot more gharials are now found in this particular stretch of the Chambal in Madhya Pradesh.
So this one is our oldest hatchery.
We were escorted around the center by the dedicated officer working around the clock to protect this unique environment of the jumble.
And this is this normal size egg.
He showed us where the eggs were kept for hatching and then led us through the various stages of the hatchling's life. The center prides itself on following strict scientific procedures, maintaining strict records, ensuring nearly 100% survival of hatchlings, and ensuring that they're of a viable size and age before releasing them into the Chambal River.
This was a good idea to establish a hatchery where we can collect these eggs from the wild. It has a drastic result, and if I tell till now in 2017 this latest survey, which is still not published, as many as 1255 individuals were counted this year's survey. If this trend will go, so we can bring this population out of this critically endangered zone of this IUCN.
What is also interesting is that the department monitors most of the nesting sites, and they can only collect the eggs from disturbed sites while not touching the nests that are safe and being monitored by their parents. While the center assures the steps until release are successful, after the release it is the river and her reality that takes over. One of the greatest threats in the Chambal to the gharial may not be pollution, but it is something dangerous, both to the crocodilians and the people guarding them: sand mining. With the economic boom of India and development, construction demand sent the demand for sand, a raw material, through the roof. In order to cash in on the endless demand for it, unscrupulous players of the sand mafia are busy mining the banks of the Chambal River.
This sand mining happens where the sand bed is thick one and fine sand are there, and again this is chosen by this breeding females for laying eggs. And sand mining is not limited to the upper level only. They keep on digging, and sometimes they even change the course of the river. This year I noticed the places where this water level goes down below knee, many cattle herd cross the river, and it also damages these eggs, because thousands of number in herd, if you cross from one side of the river to other, so it will be damaging. So these are some challenges we are facing, but apart from this year's population status, if you look, it is encouraging.
While the Forest Department are working hard in Madhya Pradesh, the World Wildlife Fund for Nature India are also monitoring and working towards saving the gharials. They are working on establishing the Hastinapur sanctuary as a safe area both for the gharial and the Gangetic dolphin.
WWF has decided to take a decision to introduce gharial in Hastinapur Wildlife Sanctuary. Hastinapur Wildlife Sanctuary is a Gangetic Ganga River Sanctuary, is approximately 200 kilometers from Bijnor to Garmukteshwar stretch. It was initiated in 2009 and now continue monitoring on gharial in that particular stretch.
WWF monitors release programs with the help of the UP Forest Department, and their scientists and field researchers focus on ensuring the future of these endangered species.
So we conduct a feasibility study on various parameters, ecological parameters. It will be suitable or not suitable for the particular gharial species, and then since 2009 we continue monitoring on various aspects, on ecological aspects, and we also monitoring on last 6 months after the release of the animals. So we conduct also radio telemetry study of the animal, and one of the first time is we conduct all animals biometrics like depth, length, like animals total length, weights, and so all animals biometric study is done by the WWF India.